it's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
It's the weekend, everybody, and it's a long weekend because it's a holiday weekend. 4 days of R&R, rest and relaxation. But what does that also mean? It also means that there's lots of sport to look forward to. We're going to preview it for you right here on ZiFM Sport. And the team that's going to do exactly that are Alois Bunjira, Mike Madoda, Chris Midzi, Sean Tafirenyika, our producer, and I'm Barry Manandi. On the home front today, while the United Kingdom endured the agony of watching the 2018 FIFA World Cup finals in Russia without any English referees for the first time in the history of the tournament, Zimbabwe, as usual, won't have any referees at the 2022 showpiece in Qatar. In international sports news, Canterbury Crusaders coach Scott Robertson welcomed back several regulars as the top team in New Zealand looks to sew up the Super Rugby Aotearoa title this weekend.
And around the world in 60, we tee off in California, where a rejuvenated Jason Day shares the first round lead with Brendan Todd as major golf returned for the first time in over a year at the PGA Championship. In Florida, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton scored 30 points each as the Milwaukee Bucks rallied to defeat the Miami Heat 130-116 to clinch the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. And in Manchester, according to cricket pundit Michael Holding, England's seamer Jofra Archer may be subconsciously reducing his speed in response to the elbow injury he suffered earlier this year.
We'll then get the party started with our play of the day. Fire Friday today it is on ZiFM Sport, and then it's the beautiful game where it's all about the biggest cup competition in world football, the UEFA Champions League. It's back this weekend, and action kicks off tonight with a potential humdinger at the Etihad, where Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola says their first leg win over Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu will have very little bearing on tonight's encounter. In the other last 16 match that's on tonight, Memphis Depay is confident Lyon can complete an upset when they face Juventus in their round of 16 encounter. The action then continues tomorrow night with Barcelona looking to tamper their La Liga disappointment with Champions League glory as they go up against Napoli, while Bayern Munich will be expected to complete the job against Chelsea.
Let's start with our staple, the power play, to get your weekend off to the flyer that it deserves. The sounds of G Idol. This one's called Dumdy Dumdy.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Don't forget, in the second half of the show, we've got the Champions League. It is back in a different iteration. We'll talk about that later on. First, local football, that's on the home front. Now, while the United Kingdom endured the agony of watching the 2018 FIFA World Cup finals in Russia without any English referees for the first time in the history of the tournament, Zimbabwe, as usual, won't have any referees at the 2022 showpiece in Qatar. According to a list of referees released by FIFA, 81 match officials from 6 confederations will be in charge of matches at the next World Cup finals, which is set to run from the 21st of November to the 18th of December, featuring a record 32 teams, up from 24. Africa will be represented by 8 referees. And that's good news for Africa, bad news for Zimbabwe. Yet again, we don't have any referees. But if we are to be fair, Michael, you can't pull a name out of the sky that you think would have qualified, in truth.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think many Zimbabweans will be complaining, because we've seen the standard of officiating in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League and in domestic football over a number of years get progressively worse and worse. Lots of accusations that have come in, some founded, some unfounded, on the integrity of our referees. But it goes beyond integrity, Barry. It just goes also to show that the level of competence that we have in our local league is not good enough. We rarely get call-ups to continental tourneys, and if you're not being called to participate at tournaments like AFCON and tournaments of that nature, then you stand very little chance of going to the World Cup. So I'm not really surprised that Zimbabwe will not be represented at these tournaments. What I would love to see, Barry, is a new crop of referees begin to emerge in Zimbabwe. And I would love to see more and more training. Our very own Felix Tangawariba, I think he's the man in charge of Sub-Saharan Africa in terms of referees training at FIFA. So he's a man of influence and a man that we should lean on very heavily in terms of bringing in the next crop of referees here in Zimbabwe, and give these guys a bedding in period in our local football structures, our local football leagues, and then hope that they can show sufficient quality and integrity for them to participate at tournaments beyond our borders, before we can even start dreaming about tournaments of the magnitude of the World Cup.
Just carrying on that point, Alois, at the very highest level of football administration, we've got on the ZiFM board Brighton Malandule, a former referee himself, and he's almost done that role that Mike is talking about in terms of bringing new blood into refereeing. We've seen a lot of ladies get onto the ZiFM panel and referee at Division 2, Division 1 level, whether centre, assistant, or even match commissioner level, and we've seen that new crop coming through. Where possibly we are missing it is on the training, isn't it?
Yes, Barry. I think when it comes to referees, we need to take a very professional approach and actually educate our referees. You know, it doesn't have to be football fans. A lot of our referees, you know, we actually recruit fans. You know, they are just referees at the Boozers matches, and then they get interested. You know, we need to actually take the kids, 19, 17, 20-year-olds, to actually start training them to be referees, so that we can actually have really, really professional referees going forward. You know, even when you look at the situation with what happened, the transformation that happened with Brian Malandule, there was a lot of controversy in it, and there was accusations of nepotism, favoritism, and some of the referees were also victimized. And it's not good for football. I think we are not surprised that we don't have any referees at the World Cup. We are not using competent referees in the country at the moment. This is something that we need to change. We don't know. Like right now, I'm a football fan. I'm a serious football fan at the moment, but I don't know of any top referee in Zimbabwe at the moment. All the referees that I know of, the most popular ones, it's all about controversy.
Yeah, and Alois makes a pertinent point there, Chris, because the professionalism of our match officials is also going to lead us on the right path to getting more quality out. Now, currently we've got some amateur referees, some professional referees, and it's a motley mix. You look at Norman Matemera. I think he's a police officer. He's a ranking officer actually in the police force, and then others have actually got day jobs and then do refereeing almost as a side gig, and that's never going to be a good thing or a good look if we want professional match day officials.
Definitely. It all comes from professionalism. It comes from taking refereeing seriously. It comes from even just if you take a look at, for example, when there are controversies, is anything done about that particular referee? Is there a reprimand? Is it significant? It all goes back to our leadership structures actually taking refereeing seriously and it becoming an actual profession. Another thing that we need to consider is, and I'm not using this as an excuse of why we don't necessarily have professional referees, but if you take a look at our economy, if referees can be compromised because of the simple fact that they don't earn significantly, I think that's something we need to look at. We need a lot more money in our football in order to also assist with making referees actual professionals. Referees need to do actual formal jobs because refereeing doesn't pay them enough to pay the bills. So once we get the entire system professionalized and we have money flowing through it, then I think we can then look forward to having more and more professional top level referees.
And I totally agree with Chris there, Barry, about the remuneration of referees. Whilst internationally, globally, referees have never earned as much as the football players, but they are comfortable and they earn enough, to get by. And that's the situation that we need to try and arrive at in Zimbabwe, where our referees are professional and they are earning something that reflects their status. They cannot be professional if they feel like if they leave their work, their current employment, and concentrate solely on being referees, they'll never be able to make enough. So we got to make sure that they are earning enough so that there's a bit of an incentive for people to actually go professional. Alois was talking about bringing in the next generation, the next wave, your 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds who are trained as referees. In order for that to happen, you've got to make sure that being a referee can be a viable livelihood. It's going to be something that can take care of you and take care of your bills.
Well, the African continent can be proud to say that we will have quite a few referees out at Qatar 2022, and certainly in the VAR room as well, because 3 referees from African continent have been selected to be video assistant referees. They are Giad Grisha from Egypt, Bamlak Tesema from Ethiopia, and the legendary Gambian Bakari Gassama. They will sit in the VAR room, and then the other 6 referees.
You tried to tell me that
onto the
Takashaya, one referee and a degree in trigonometry who can draw the lines and
draw the 3D lines. Not a chance, Michael. Michael, you're being very ambitious, and I know you to be a very positive man, but I think that now you're flying in the stars, brother, because we haven't even implemented VAR in Zimbabwe, so it would be a real struggle. And to add on to the other referees who are in the VAR room, there are 6 referees that made it into the elite class, and they are Ndala Ngambo from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Redouane Djihad from Morocco, South African Victor Gomes, Maguette Ndiaye of Senegal, and Sadok Selmi of Tunisia. And you'll recall that Africa has only had 1 referee who has refereed the World Cup final proper, and that was Moroccan Saidi Belkola. And he was in charge of the 1998 final between France and Brazil, in which the hosts trounced Brazil to my great pain and chagrin 3-0. So hopefully this World Cup we might see an African referee in the center and possibly Brazil in the final.
Hi, my name is Sean Williams, Zimbabwe cricket captain. You're listening to ZiFM Sport. Z.
Your local sports news roundup starts with cricket news, where former Zimbabwe cricket captain Hamilton Masakadza says he's on a mission to inspire the young and upcoming cricketers. The 36-year-old retired from active cricket last year and has since been hired by Zimbabwe Cricket as the first director of cricket. Although his duties are mostly confined to the office, Masakadza said he'll be spending his time in the nets to help both the development and national team commitments. He's also involved in defining policy, strategy and programs of best practice throughout all aspects of the ZC cricket pathway. In basketball news, Basketball Union of Zimbabwe President Joe Mujuru says the ongoing International Basketball Federation online courses crafted for officials had exceeded their expectations. Over 50 officials are going through FIBA online courses that began 2 months ago for coaches, referees and table officials. Mujuru says the association had taken advantage of the COVID-19 enforced lockdown to improve on other aspects of the game. We'll wrap it up with news out of the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League, where Premier Soccer League clubs are enduring a frustrating wait for their share of the FIFA COVID-19 bailout funds, which is being administered by the country's supreme football governing body, ZiFM. The financially struggling clubs were hoping to get their share early so they could meet pressing obligations that include players' salaries. While Division 1 clubs have already been paid by ZiFM, Premier Soccer League clubs have declined to accept payment in local currency as per ZIFA's suggestion, and this has caused the delay. ZIFA have also said that they have not yet received the funds from FIFA.
Hi, this is Mike Madoda, and you can catch me and the team for all the latest breaking news out of the world of sport, local as well as international, on your favorite station, my station, your station, ZFM. We are Z-Team on ZFM Sport.
Z. From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
It's all building up for the Champions League. That's all in the second half of the show, the greatest and best cup competition in world football. But before we get there, let's go to the greatest and best rugby nation playing on earth. In fact, it's not even arguably, it is New Zealand, where the Crusaders coach Scott Robertson has welcomed back several regulars as the top team in New Zealand looks to sew up the Aotearoa title this weekend. Playing at home in front of the sellout crowd, the Crusaders face the Aotearoa Highlanders and welcome back the likes of Joe Moody, Wetu Kamo Douglas and Braden Enna to the team for the important game. Douglas returns to the number 8 spot, allowing Tom Sanders to shift to blindside, and Sione Habili drops to the reserve bench. Enna's return is one of 2 changes for the backline, with Brian Hall starting at halfback this week. And now Brian Hall says the Crusaders are focused on putting a show for their fans in what will be the final home game of Aotearoa.
Well, I guess for us, every kind of game's felt like a final for us, and I guess the coaching staff and us as leaders have kind of drive that throughout the duration of this competition, that you can't really afford to lose many games. So I think for us it's an awesome opportunity against an arch-rival team that we tend to have a lot of great battles with, and we've got a lot of history. So whenever we get a chance to play them, it's a great opportunity, and I think for us as well, in front of our fans. We didn't get the job done last time against the Hurricanes, and it'll be our last time at home, and it's already a sellout. So there's a bit of buzz around the city, and it's a performance that we're probably going to looking forward to trying to put a good one for them. Because we've played obviously pre-COVID, and now we've obviously played post-COVID. But no, I think for us playing in a sellout is going to be a great opportunity for us. We love playing in front of our fans, and like I said before, we didn't get the job done last time, and get an opportunity to play in front of them, and hopefully sending them away happy with the one will be probably the best way to end the season for us here.
There's very little, Barry, that can be said about the Crusaders. I mean, this is a team that's ruthlessly efficient, and one of the signs of ruthlessness, Barry, is that whenever you are presented with an opportunity to close something out, be it a game or a competition, you seize the chance. And the Crusaders, no doubt, will want to end everything this weekend.
And they fully can, and possibly will, because you look at how they close out games. It's just emblematic of the way that they can close out a season as well. So a team that is working is so efficiently in every single department. You look at that back three of Will Jordan, Sever Reece and George Bridge, phenomenal. You look at the midfield combination, Braden Enna and Jack Goodhue, looking phenomenal. The halfback pairing of Brian Hall at scrum half and fly half of Richie Moonga, phenomenal partnership. So it's working for the Crusaders, and it's something that I'm sure the Highlanders will be prepared for. But it doesn't mean that you know what's coming, you're going to be able to avoid it. I think they know this is a steam train that's coming that's going to roll over them.
Yeah, absolutely. But that veil, Chris, of invincibility that the Crusaders had, that historic 4-year undefeated run in Christchurch, it came to an end last month when they were, of course, beaten by the Hurricanes. But they immediately bounced back with a wonderful win over the Chiefs. But will that defeat at the hands of the Hurricanes in their backyard give the Highlanders hope?
It's tricky. I think if anything, what that loss did for the Crusaders was it adds to the steam. It almost motivates them a great deal more. I think this is something that they have wanted to hold on to. And if they're playing this particular game at home again, they're going to want to ensure that they get this win, especially seeing as they want to sew up the season. They're going to want to get this win, and it's almost going to be motivation for them. The Highlanders have made a couple of changes, which may be beneficial for them on the win. John Onoreki will be coming on, replacing winger Scott Gregory in that starting lineup. And look, they're going to be making these adjustments, making the changes. But I think that the Crusaders will still be wanting this win. They're still going to be able to do it, especially in front of a home crowd.
Absolutely, but the Highlanders themselves, no mugs. It all makes for a very interesting encounter. The likes of Aaron Smith and halfback there. He's definitely the standout halfback in New Zealand rugby. He'll be co-captain in the side next to Ash Dixon, who plays at a hooker. But they do have some very good players. Shannon Frizzell, we all know what he can do, especially in broken play and if given the space. So they'll be looking to get that win. I think that'll add respectability to their campaign in Super Rugby Aotearoa, since they don't have any hopes of winning the competition altogether. Let's take a look at the other action. Wes Goosen will bring up 50 games for the Hurricanes when he runs out against the Chiefs at the Sky Stadium. And the winger has been with the Wellington-based side since 2016 when he made his debut against the Reds in Wellington. We also have Super Rugby AU. One game already played today. The Melbourne Rebels beating the previously undefeated Brumbies 30-12. 4 tries to 2. They scored early in the 3rd minute through Reece Hodge, and then the monumental part of their performance was in the second half, where they kept the Brumbies scoreless until the very last minute of the game, where the Brumbies managed to score a consolation try and conversion, but by then it was all over bar the shouting. Tomorrow's action will see the Waratahs taking on the Queensland Reds in Sydney.
Hi, I'm JC Kriel, Springbok and Blue Bulls backline player. You are listening to ZiFM Sport.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We take off in California, where a rejuvenated Jason Day shares the first round lead with Brendan Todd as major tournament golf returned for the first time in over a year at the PGA Championship. Day fired the first 65 at TPC Harding Park and was one of only 4 players to hand in a bogey-free card along with US Open champion Gary Woodland, England's Tom Lewis and Brian Harman. We head over to Florida, where Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton scored 33 points each as the Milwaukee Bucks rallied to defeat the Miami Heat 130-116 to clinch the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Antetokounmpo added a game-high 12 rebounds and 4 assists in 30 minutes, while Middleton had a team-high 8 assists and 6 rebounds in 34 minutes. Milwaukee overcame a 17-point halftime deficit to snap a 2-game losing streak. We touched down in Manchester, where, according to cricket pundit Michael Holding, England seaman Jofra Archer may be subconsciously reducing his speed in response to the elbow injury he suffered earlier this year. Archer, who regularly topped 145 kilometers per hour during last year's Ashes series, recovered from a stress fracture of his right elbow in the European winter, but has tended to register lower speeds during the Test series against West Indies and the current first Test against Pakistan.
Hi, I'm Warriors coach Zdravko Logarušić, and you are listening to ZiFM Sport.
Sports with a difference. Z. The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport.
Okay, it's time for the greatest club competition in world football to return. Make a return after the COVID-19 enforced break in play during lockdowns all over the world. Well, it's back tonight, and Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola says their first leg win over Real Madrid in Spain will have no bearing in tonight's Champions League encounter. Since football resumed, Real have powered to an impressive title triumph in La Liga, and Guardiola's team will now have to try and knock them out of Europe without the backing of their home fans. Manchester City midfielder Rodri says it's the team's dream to win the Champions League this season. You got to say, Alois, that it's been the team's dream to win the Champions League not only this season, but for a very long time. But if ever there was a time that Manchester City can and should win the Champions League, it's this.
Yes, Barry, I think if there was ever any time for Manchester City to win this one, I think this is time. You know, like I've always said, I like Pep Guardiola. He's my favorite coach, and there's been a lot of criticism about him not winning the Champions League with Manchester City with all the money. But I think now is the time. I like him. You know, I am supporting Manchester City against on Team Real Madrid. I don't know what's happening. Is the liking that I have for Pep Guardiola. I hope that they actually make it. They did this time around. They've been suspended. It was suspended, and now they are back. So I'm happy for it, and I hope that they beat Real Madrid and also go all the way to win the Champions League.
Phenomenal, and hopefully they will. Right now they're sitting in the box seat, Chris, because they hold a 2-1 advantage over Madrid. They are playing at home, albeit there will be no fans in the stadium. You got to think to yourself that they should be able to close this one out, but this is a formidable Madrid side.
Definitely. I think we've seen Real Madrid in Spain coming through over and over again, and when they need to, they deliver. We're hoping that Manchester City will be able to do the same thing and be able to hold on. I think that 2-1 advantage is definitely something that's going to be working in their favor if they can just manage to finish out this match, to score the goals. If Manchester City starts scoring goals, I think they'll be fine, and they should be able to get this win over Real Madrid and go forward.
Manchester City certainly know how to score. They know how to deliver a result, especially at the Etihad. And Real Madrid, albeit that they enjoy travelling to England, they've won 5 of their last 11 away Champions League games in England. They've only lost 3. They've drawn another 3. It's a venue or a country that has been very hospitable to them, but they couldn't have wished for a more inhospitable opponent in the relentless Manchester City, because when they come, they keep coming.
Absolutely, Barry. And the one thing that's working, in fact, there are 2 things that are working against them. First of all, the fact that they lost at Santiago Bernabeu, allowing Manchester City to grab 2 precious away goals. They may well come in as a factor over the course of the evening. And then the second thing is that Sergio Ramos, the inspirational captain and best defender, is suspended for this encounter. So that leaves Real Madrid a bit lightweight in defense up against a very, very good attacking side. Manchester City, for me, is the one side in Europe which can attack you in a number of ways. They can attack down the flanks. They can have width through genuine attackers like Raheem Sterling, Bernardo Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne. Or they can actually have width that's given by their fullbacks who bomb down the flanks. Or they can attack you right through the center, through the heart. And that is the area where Sergio Ramos is going to be missing. So they're a side for me that has got the offensive play to trouble Real Madrid and to get a goal. And you see, every time Manchester City scores, especially if they do manage to get on the score sheet tonight, it's going to make it very hard for Real Madrid. So Man City, I think, are going to go, they're not going to be gung-ho, because I think a lot of people expected Manchester City to be gung-ho in the first leg. But what we saw was a very pragmatic approach by Pep Guardiola. Remember, he went into that game with a false 9, no one leading the line. And if you remember, the young striker Gabriel Jesus was almost playing as a wing back, you know, and then they really weathered the storm and managed to get into their groove. And when they got into the groove, even though they went a goal down and people thought it was curtains, they actually scored 2 goals at the end. They never panicked, and they showed a lot of maturity. The Champions League is a competition that's very difficult to win. So for me, this is a prestige competition. It's a competition in which you grow and mature as a side. Real Madrid, I think, in this encounter, they bring the experience. Manchester City bring the ability, the raw ability. If Manchester City are able to get over this hurdle, I think they'll believe that they can go all the way. But the only problem is that they're on the difficult side of the draw, because Juventus, Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich are all in one side of the draw. So only one team can emerge from all those. And the other side of the draw has only got PSG and possibly Atletico Madrid as the 2 really big teams that are left. So it's a tough route. Even if they get past Real Madrid, it still will be very tough to get to the final.
And to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And Manchester City, certainly, if they end up in that final, will certainly attest to the fact that they will have beaten the best. It's a very tough side of the draw indeed. I must get predictions before we look at the other game tonight. And let's start with you, Mikey. You had the mic last.
I'm going to go with 2-1 to Man City.
2-1 to Man City, and they go through. Alois?
Yeah, I'm going with the scoreline. 2-1 to Man City and go through.
Chris, are you going to make it a hat-trick?
I am actually 2-1 to Man City.
2-1 to Man City, my goodness. So the 3 guys in the studio saying the same scoreline. Who am I to argue? I'm going to say the same as well, 2-1 to Manchester City. There's more action, and Juventus takes on Lyon, needing to overturn a 1-0 deficit that Lyon currently holds. And Memphis Depay believes in Lyon's chances of completing an upset over Juventus in the Champions League. Lyon face Juve in Turin tonight in the second leg of their last 16 tie, more than 5 months after winning 1-0 at home. Depay, who has scored 5 goals in as many Champions League games in 2019-2020, is back from a knee injury, and the star attacker believes Lyon can upset the Serie A champions. The one thing that Lyon takes, apart from the lead, Lyon also takes into this game, Alois, the fact that Juventus does not have an away goal. If Lyon scores, the maths gets very interesting.
Yeah, Bay, I think this is going to be an interesting fixture, but when I close my eyes and try to dream about this match, I don't see Lyon giving you the problems at all, because I actually think that the win in France, for me, I think it was a fluke. They caught Juve sleeping on that night, and with Cristiano Ronaldo, dreaming about Champions League, I think this is his swan-song season in the Champions League, and I don't think that they're going to let it lie. And for me, I just see a situation whereby they won't even score that away goal that we're talking about, and Juve are going to cruise through. And I actually think the scoreline is going to be heavy.
Wow, Alois being very brave in his prediction. They're saying that Juventus is well capable and is going to roll over Lyon tonight. We know that they're capable, Chris. Can they? On the basis that Lyon playing at home, Lyon knowing that they've got one in the bag and can approach this game very tight, very cautious, and then try and nick something on the break. They hold some of the cards, if not the bulk of them, Chris.
Yeah, if you add to that Paulo Dybala is a major doubt for Juventus. He missed the final 2 games of the Serie A season, and I think he's been a major trump card for them in the Serie A season, where they've performed pretty well. Maurizio Sarri is still confident, but I think for Juventus, it's I think they performed well in Italy, but in I think the final, let's say the last 5 games, what they were managing to do was, first of all, they lost a couple of games, but also they were just managing to win those games, and that was in Italy. When they go onto the continent, I think Juventus are going to struggle a little bit more. They haven't been absolutely top form Juventus like we've known in previous seasons. So for me, I think Lyon definitely has a very good chance here of managing to, like you said, nick that goal on the break.
Mike, are we being fair on Juventus, or are we just trying to be balanced pundits?
I think Chris has given a very fair assessment, Barry, because we must take a look at Juventus' form and the way that they have played, first of all, before the lockdown and after the lockdown. They were not very convincing, Barry, before the lockdown. They were very efficient, very good at what they do, which is to win games. And then after the lockdown, I mean, they went, I think, for a period of about 5 matches in which they drew 2. So they sort of like, they limped over the line. In fact, I would say that they crawled over the line. And testament to that is the fact that they, in the end, I think the gap between them and second placed Inter was 1 point, wasn't it? Was it 1 or 2 points or something like that? So I'm concerned by the fact that this is a Juventus side that allows you opportunities to score. And Lyon are looking for just that one goal, which you say in the introduction that it will complicate things. The likes of Memphis Depay are capable players. What they do have, Lyon, is that they've got a lot of pace in attack. So their offensive transitions are very, very quick. And also they've got very good set-piece exponents. Depay himself, very good over the dead ball. So they'll be looking for 1 goal. That's all they'll be looking for. And I think it'll come down to whether Juventus can do what Alois said, which is a barrage of goals. So if Juventus are 2-0 up by halftime and add another 2 goals in the second half, yes, then I think Juventus may go through. But if this is a tight encounter and Juventus don't get out of the blocks quickly, I think Lyon may well be able to upset them here. I think Juventus have to score early to make sure that Lyon come out of their shell and try and push for that goal. And then Juventus themselves, classically a very good counter-attacking side, can catch them on the break.
Go on then, give us a scoreline.
My scoreline in this one, I'm going to give it to Juventus 3-1.
Juventus 3-1 after talking Lyon up and saying that they got a good job.
No.
They're going to be brilliant.
I said I'm going to give it 3-1, but I think Lyon, I wouldn't be surprised if Lyon qualified. Okay, it wouldn't be a shock to me.
Right.
Let's put it that way. It wouldn't be a shock. Okay. But if I had to put some money on it, I'll put it on Juventus to win 3-1.
Yes, under that Barcelona jacket, no doubt you're in the Juventus top. All right, Alice Mungina, score lines there.
You know, like I said, I think it's going to be heavy. I think Juve are going to score 3 goals, and probably Lyon will score a consolation late in the game to make it 3-1.
3-1, same scoreline. Wow, Chris.
I'm going to go on the opposite end. I think Lyon has just enough to keep Juventus out and to be able to get that 1 goal. I'm going to go Lyon 1-0.
Lyon 1-0 and Lyon to qualify.
Come on, Chris, that's it.
All right.
I'm not as brave as you, Chris, but I like that prediction.
Okay, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Juventus. That means that Lyon qualifies for the next round.
Hi, I'm Clemens Matau, chicken in midfielder. You're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Two really good matches to look forward to tonight, and another 2 matches to look forward to tomorrow evening. Barcelona looking to temper their La Liga disappointment with Champions League glory as they welcome Napoli tomorrow night. This game finishing 1-1 in Italy. And Chris, you've got to say that Barca will be going all out for the Champions League because that's the type of club that they are. And those are the standards that Messi demands of his teammates.
Definitely. I think they had a disappointing season in La Liga, but having this opportunity to still go forward in the Champions League, you could tell at the end of that season, Messi was incredibly disappointed in his team. And I think this is an opportunity for redemption for Barcelona. And I think that they definitely have what it takes to be able to win this one.
Does that make them a dangerous animal, Barry? The fact that they are wounded, their pride has been dented. Chris is talking about the fact that, the disappointment was actually aired and made public. Does that make them a very dangerous side? Because they feel like that this is the one competition that they must win in order to restore their place at the top table.
Massively, and them being hurt and hungry with their driver, their captain, their talisman, also in the same state and frame of mind, makes them a very difficult subject to speak of. So Napoli is in for a very torrid time against a Barcelona side in this sort of mood. The idea that there are players the ilk of Busquets, Piqué, Messi, who have the Barcelona way, Barcelona culture ingrained and embedded within them, I think is enough of a spine to lift this team to deliver the result that they so require out of this game. So I'm foreseeing Barca actually stepping up to the plate.
Another game on tomorrow night. Chelsea travel to Germany to face Bayern Munich in the second leg of their round of 16 Champions League tie. The German champions swept aside their opponents at Stamford Bridge before lockdown, winning 3-0 thanks to a brace from Serge Gnabry and a strike from Robert Lewandowski. Chelsea will need a minor miracle to progress to the next round, and spirits will be low after their defeat in the FA Cup final against Arsenal. Alois, we've seen with Chelsea a bit of a shaky situation, not even shaky, but they don't necessarily perform well in these, for example, the FA Cup final. We've seen that the manager is not the best under pressure. Is this Bayern Munich basically sealing up a deal?
Yeah, of course. You spoke about a mini miracle, and mini miracle is not going to happen in this one. Chris, Chelsea, they are not as strong as we have noticed that, and they just also crawled past the line to get into the Champions League as well. Mike said it a few weeks ago that, if you were looking at their performance this season, they're not even better than last season's performances, when you look at the statistics. So when you look when they're playing against a Bayern Munich that is sick, that has actually finished the German season in style. They're buoyed by a guy who is scoring goals, the Champions League top goal scorer right now. I don't see any miracle happening in Bayern Munich, and I think we might just see another avalanche of goals, and a similar scoreline might just happen in Munich.
Alois, at his dismissive best of the chances of any opponent on today's show. But remember, after these games are done, the quarterfinals start midweek next week, right through, running from Wednesday through to Saturday, and then the semi-finals will take place the week after that, with the final happening on the 23rd of August. All of this will be taking place in the bubble in Lisbon in Portugal. That's the Champions League. It is back, and we love it. We've got to go now. Have a fantastic long weekend, a holiday weekend. God bless you. We'll catch you on Wednesday next week, so don't miss us when we return. In the meantime, stay safe, and God bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Menande, out.
And it's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
The biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.